Mark Cuban chose violence, and there was a heated debate on Twitter between Mark Cuban and the Bitcoin army. And not only was it wildly entertaining, it also, I believe, gave us great insight into the future of cryptocurrency. And when we can see the future, it can help us make better investment decisions, which leads us to making more money. And speaking about money, I am giving away Bitcoin and Dogecoin on Twitter in honor of last night's heated debate. All you have to do is follow me on Twitter and retweet this tweet. That's all you have to do to enter. Also, I will be giving away cryptocurrency on Instagram, except I don't know what to give away. So comment down below whether I should give away Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Dogecoin, or maybe something else. I'll take a look at those comments and then I'll put out a competition giveaway on Instagram. I have links for both of the socials in the description down below. And if that sounds good to you and you like money, make sure to hit the like button. It really, really helps support the channel. And with that being said, let's get into the content. Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. Twitter has a feature called Spaces where people can join a group and discuss topics. Usually there's 200, 300, maybe 400 people in these groups. But last night there was a Twitter space with Mark Cuban and many prominent people in the Bitcoin space. And there was more than 15,000 people in the group. It included celebrities, musicians, athletes, many people, and it got very heated. Basically, it came down to this main argument of, can Bitcoin be used by everyday people for everyday things? Of course, people in the Bitcoin community said Bitcoin can be used for everything. One day the world will run on Bitcoin. If we look at El Salvador, people are already spending their Bitcoin with the Lightning Network. And then on the other side, you had Mark Cuban who was saying, you know what, Bitcoin is a good store of value, but I don't think Bitcoin is going to be used every day by everyday people. And from there, it got extremely heated. One thing that they both agreed on, pretty much something everyone in the crypto space believes in, is that Bitcoin is a good store of value. Is it the best in the short term for gains? Is it the best for utility? That's the debate, back and forth. But we all know, or not we all know, people that are not in crypto would not say this, but Bitcoin is a good long-term store of value. So the people in the Bitcoin community, in the chat, were not being very nice to Mark Cuban. They were being very disrespectful, I will say. And eventually, they got on Mark Cuban's nerves, and he fired back, and he said, F you. Very, very heated, very entertaining. So who won the debate? Well, it's hard to say exactly who won, but if I had to choose, I would lean more towards Mark Cuban's side, and I will explain. The name of this channel is The Bitcoin Express. I love Bitcoin. I have a portion of Bitcoin that I will never sell. I will hold it forever. And in the beginning, when I got into crypto about 4 years ago, I was a Bitcoin maximalist, but eventually it changed. As you guys know that watch this channel, I talk a lot about altcoins now. I talk a lot about NFTs, so I'm no longer a Bitcoin maximalist. And the reason it changed is because I read the book Principles by Ray Dalio about 2 years ago. And what I learned in that book changed everything, not just about cryptocurrency, but everything in life, everything in general. And what I learned in that book is that we should not focus on how things should be, but instead focus on how things actually are. And when you truly understand this concept, it will save you from mental suffering. This whole idea of how things should be, a perfect world, an idealistic world, logically is impossible. It does not make any sense because everyone's version of perfect or ideal is going to be different. So there is no such thing as the perfect world or the perfect idea. So when it comes to the Bitcoin community, there is this idea, this concept that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that we need. Bitcoin will run the world. Everything will be backed by Bitcoin. This is how it should be. Maybe it is. Maybe that is how the world should be. But what many people in the Bitcoin community, specifically Bitcoin maximalists, fail to realize is that that's not how the world actually is. They disconnect from reality. And on the opposite end, we have Mark Cuban, who understands maybe Bitcoin may take over the world one day. Maybe it is the best thing. But the reality of the situation is that there are other cryptocurrencies that people will want to use and that people will want to own. Mark Cuban is a billionaire for a reason because he understands how people think. He understands how people work. But it seems like in the Bitcoin community, they fail to realize this. Of course, not everyone in the Bitcoin community, but you do have those people in the community that are extreme maximalists who cannot see the other side. It's okay to disagree. Not only is it okay, you should disagree. It's a good thing when people in Bitcoin are disagreeing with people that are supporting any other cryptocurrency or any other blockchain. That's okay. But what's not okay is not understanding how the world actually works. And it only will hurt people in the Bitcoin space, which I will explain in this video. This is how the world works. If it wasn't the way it worked, we'd have one world religion, but there are billions of people around the world. There will always be people that are going to put their money into different cryptocurrencies, into altcoins, maybe into some meme coins, pump and dumps. And then we have this argument, well, it's not ethical, it's not moral, people shouldn't be buying these cryptocurrencies. Well, is it ethical? Is it moral? Maybe, maybe not. But that comes back to the argument of how things should be versus how they actually are. As human beings, we are speculative by nature. We will always look for something else. A lot of the altcoins today, they'll die off. And when they all die off, and let's say in 100 years from now, Bitcoin is still the king #1, there'll be new altcoins. There will always be something else. So that's the first part. Don't focus on how the world should be, but focus on how the world actually is. Now, the second part that I've noticed within the Bitcoin community, again, not everyone, but certain people in the Bitcoin community, they have this belief that everything needs to be decentralized and everything needs blockchain. But this is simply not true, because when we look at blockchain and cryptocurrency, not everything needs it. It seems like over the past year or two, there was this hype of we're using blockchain. Not only are there companies that don't need blockchain or decentralization, there are companies and use cases that actually should not use this technology because it actually hurts them. So we have very important things that might need to be 100% decentralized. For example, storing your wealth. But what about something like video games, right? Do video games need to be 100% decentralized, or can they be semi-permission? Meaning, for the most part, it's decentralized, but there are aspects of centralization because gaming needs to be fast and cheap. So we're going to have these other blockchains and these other cryptocurrencies that people will use. Bitcoin doesn't solve everything, but it does solve a lot. There will always be these other cryptocurrencies that people are getting into, like Mark Cuban is stating. He said it with Dogecoin specifically, that people think it's fun, it's memeable, and they get into it. And then on the opposite side, the Bitcoin community was saying, well, it's a pump and dump, it's a scam. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But that is the reality of the situation. There will always be something else that people are looking at. And in terms of an investment, what does this whole conversation teach us? Well, the first thing is both sides agree that Bitcoin is a store of value. So if you want to build your wealth and preserve your wealth over a long period, dollar cost average, buy Bitcoin, hold it for 10, 20, 30 years, maybe never even sell it. But in shorter terms, there is more money to be made with these other altcoins, whether they will be here in 20 years, whether they will be here in 100 years. In the shorter time frame, there is many opportunities and gains to be made. And even people in the Bitcoin community that understand this do very well, because like we said, you can disagree with this whole ecosystem of altcoins and other blockchains outside of Bitcoin. That's okay, you can disagree. But at the same time, if you understand how the way the world actually works, you can use it to your advantage. For example, I'm looking at this tweet from Jason Williams. He is a very big Bitcoin supporter. He put out a tweet the other day that he converted $794,000 worth of Ethereum to Bitcoin. Now, how he got the Ethereum, I'm not sure. Did he buy it or did he mine it? I don't know. But he understands this concept of using altcoins to your advantage to actually get more Bitcoin. When you have this mindset of Bitcoin maximalism, everything should be Bitcoin and there's nothing else. We don't need anything else. It only will hurt you. Remove emotions from the situation and it will help you make more money, and it will even help you make more money in order to get more Bitcoin. So this is my take on the situation. Bitcoin maximalism, at a certain point, it gets to be too much. I love Bitcoin. I am the Bitcoin Express. That's the name of this channel. I think Bitcoin will be here in 100 years, in 200 years, but there will be other cryptocurrencies as well, and there will be other blockchains for certain use cases and certain utilities. And don't forget, guys, giveaway on Twitter and Instagram, links in the description down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.